Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, ladies and gentlemen, and all in between, and welcome back to part 18 of the life and suffering of Sir Brante, the Inquisitor path. So when last we left off, we got Gloria betrothed to Noble of the Sword, and we might have to accept now that we're not going to become one ourselves and just focus on getting Mother better. So we're getting closer and closer to the end of the chapter, and we've got the Torch of the New Faith accomplished, as well as we're close to getting Cassius overthrown. If we can just get the evidence we need. So we shall see what happens in this episode. I reckon we've only got about 7 events left before we get to the end of the chapter. Like, everything is fine, but nothing is particularly special. So I think I have to forfeit the idea of being noble by the sword. So let's focus on getting unity to 8 if we can. So let's jump straight in. A sinner's confession. Dusk falls. After a hot day, the city begins to cool down. The skies grow darker. The pillar begins to shine brighter on the horizon. The people of Anisot leave their homes to enjoy an evening stroll. This is what you see today from the windows of your ascetic lodging at the Inquisition ward. How many homes has it been since you returned? How many years has it been since you returned home? What have you achieved in this time? Every year, Magla descends even deeper into chaos. The schism between the old faith and the new faith is tearing the church apart. Patriarch Cassius now openly opposes the Inquisition, and you are still not sure the report against the Patriarch is true. You are running out of precious time, but the truth is just as elusive as it was the day you came home to Anisot. If a priest has questions, who can answer them? Who can guide them? Who can guide those who offer guidance? A thin book finds its way into your hands, profound revelation, a collection of all known speeches by the elder preserved in writings by Prophet Ezekiel. You open the book, and your eyes find the words once spoken by a living God. And the elder said, I and my own brother did stand amidst the world, and together we revealed ourselves to them in the flesh, and we found them all besotted, and yet they thirsted not, and sorrow did fill our souls, for their hearts were blind, and they did not see that they entered this world as empty vessels. But now they are besotted. Should they reject the wine, they will beg for mercy, but they shall have none, and my brother shall judge them, and each shall obtain retribution in the full measure of his deeds, whilst I remain apart in my sorrow. As you meditate over this line, you suddenly hear some sort of commotion on the floor below. How strange! The Inquisition ward is supposed to be empty at this late hour. You hurry down the stairs. There are several champions of faith dragging a chained man down to the Inquisition's dungeons. It is your younger brother. Oh God, Nathan, what have you done now? Nathan has been spending most of his time away from home lately. You are not sure when you saw him last. His clothes are torn and tattered, his unwashed hair is tangled, and stubble covers his face. He is brazenly drunk, unable to stand. Even from so far away, he reeks of vomit and urine. Inquisitor Jordan, I didn't think I'd find you here. My man caught this drunk by a temple. People told him he was cursing at the twins and pissing under their statues. We found him on his knees in a puddle of his own filth. He must have been praying for their forgiveness, the fool. Even a child knows the younger never stays his hand. He's so drunk we couldn't get his name out of him. I'd let him sleep it off before the interrogation if I were you. You thank the captain for this information, but insist on interrogating the man right away. As you wish. The night watchman will be right here. Just give us a shout if you need us. Nathan sprawls on the floor motionless. You hold a thin slab of silver in your hands and pray to the elder for a cure. The silver melts into thin air. Your brother winches and squirms as if in pain, but soon grows quiet. His eyelids flutter open. His eyes are filled with animal terror. Jordan, where am I? You tell him everything. Captain Agaronim told you just now, then asked Nathan to explain what happened tonight. He sits up, squeezing his knees to his chest. His voice is very quiet. It'll be a long story, brother. You won't like it when you hear it, but I don't care. If it's you, I'll be honest. I rejected the twins several years ago now. Their will and love and law mean nothing to me anymore. Our gods are merciless. Their law is brutal, ruthless. Their love is an abuse. Their will is tyrannical. What? You cannot help but glance around the interrogation room. Are you sure no one heard your brother's blasphemy? I couldn't live by the lot of my birth like Ezekiel wants us to. I turned to the new faith and tried to find my own path to the twins, but it just showed me I don't hate my path, I hate the gods themselves. I met a man once by the name of Father Mark. He was kind to me. He gave me the answers I needed. He guided me to the path I was looking for, a path away from the twins. Mark teaches that the twins are nothing but absolute will, and we're all going to be dissolved in it in the hereafter. Everything we are will be gone. Mark says that the immortal world is the only place where we are free to reject the will of the twins and live a life of freedom. Only here are we free to struggle against their merciless law and love they force on us. Only here in this world can people like me be themselves. Nathan cuts himself short. His eyes are filled with sorrow and disappointment. Mark never told us to pray or perform rituals. He told us to do everything we could to forget the twins exist. We need to set ourselves free from their will to be who we really are. And I believed him. I rejected the twins and I found my freedom. I became one of Mark's favourite disciples. You can't even imagine how important people follow him. Even Patriarch Cassius, he follows Mark's teachings too. Nathan, you're a genius. This is exactly the evidence we need. You cannot believe your ears. Patriarch Cassius has been helping witches and people of other faiths and people like me. He gives us shelter to hide from your older spies. He told us he was happy to help somebody, anybody be free from the twins, so we can live our lives as we see fit. But there's just one problem. Most of us don't know what to do with that freedom. You know, Jordan, I've drunk so much wine, I've eaten all the food no commoner's ever supposed to taste. I've made love to so many women and men. I felt all the pleasures I could find, but I've never found peace. I was just trying to drown out the cacophony of fear and desperation in my soul. Aren't we all, pal? He lets out a bitter chuckle and rolls up the sleeve of his shirt. There's a black circle around his forearm. Your brother has known a lesser death. I've been drunk for days when that happened. I don't even know what killed me. Can you imagine? But that death woke me up. When I appeared before the twins, I saw just how wrong I was. Mark, he took them away from me. The freedom he gave me was just nothing, an endless waste of life. I'm already doomed to suffer, but I'm still not happy here in my worldly life. Nathan pointed his chest. He used to wear a symbol of the twins there. Then I started drinking again. I tried to reject it, everything I felt. That's when I went to the statues of the twins, screamed insults, asked them questions. Why can't I just accept them? Why can't they just accept me? But of course they didn't tell me anything. They never listen. They just speak their word. Then I got down on my knees and begged them for forgiveness, even though I know they never ever forgave me. Nathan looks at you again. Brother Mark's path wasn't mine after all, Jordan. But there are people, some people, who don't have a place in the world of the twins. Please, I'm begging you, have mercy on them. They're already doomed in the hereafter. Please let them live their immortal lives in peace. Your eyes are fixed on your younger brother. This is it, the answer you've been finally waiting for all along. Have the twins finally heard your prayers, and what do they want you to do now? So we can judge Nathan and find him guilty, which gives us evidence against Cassius, Inquisition power +2, tolerance of the fates goes down, unity goes down, and reputation goes down. Jesus. We can set Nathan free, which gives us Inquisition down, tolerance up, reputation down, scheming up, manipulation up, but no evidence against Cassius. Oh no. We have to judge Nathan guilty to get evidence against Cassius. That's the only way to do it. And that's going to tank our reputation. From 5 all the way down to 3. We'll be down to being tarnished honor. Jesus Christ. Anyway, the only both decisions I have give me reputation dropping. This dropped reputation by 1. But he'll be recruited. Theology will go up, manipulation will go up, willpower will go down. Is willpower going down here? No. If I do this, he'll be recruited. I don't understand why this won't give us evidence as well. I think it will down the line. I can't do this, this will just tank our family. Look at that, unity and reputation down. I have no choice but to do this one. I hate it, but I have to do this. You ask your brother to recall your conversation by the tree in the family garden all those years ago. He asked you about the twins back then. Can Nathan remember what you told him? Yes, I remember. The twins are always testing us, but they don't hate us. They come down to our world and taught us how to live, so their law contains their love. That's right, without the twins there is no life, neither in this earthly realm nor in the hereafter. Those who reject the gods die inside and can only eke out a pathetic existence. Father Mark and Patriarch Cassius are dooming the very people they're supposed to be fighting to save. They have failed their lot and are now leading their flock to the foot of the pillar. But the twins have blessed Nathan with a revelation that can save people. The twins showed Nathan a path to them, and now they are giving him a chance to stop Mark and his perverse teachings. The twins want to save Mark erring apostates, and return him to the bosom of the true faith. Nathan thinks deeply for a while, then answers. Very well, brother. If you promise not to punish these lost souls, but only offer them salvation, I am willing to aid you. You ponder what to do about your brother. If Nathan stays till dawn, Ulrich will surely get his hands on him. You quickly walk upstairs. What is it, Inquisitor? The prisoner has confessed his misdeeds and is ready to be punished for them. Astonishing! I was certain it was impossible to get anything out of the drunkard. What is his punishment? You sentence your brother to the usual punishment for drunkenness, 7 days with an iron chain around the neck. He will endure this burden and shame that comes with it. You accompany your brother out of the Inquisition ward by the grey light of dawn. Nathan walks slowly. The metal ball chained to his neck weighs him down. Soon the pain will make him scream, but this punishment is nothing compared to the crimes he has committed. So, about Father Mark. Listen, he's planning to gather his supporters at the country mansion of a nobleman named El Gautier. There are usually several guards to meetings like these, and they're ready to drop the sound of the alarm at the drop of a hat. They'll definitely notice a group of men, but a single person won't seem suspicious. The password to the meeting is Alice. I heard it is the name of a woman Mark used to love. Oh dear. Talk to him. I think you'll both have something to say to each other. We're the man that doomed his girlfriend. You ask Nathan why he decided to share this with you. You have something the twins don't have. And what is that? Mercy. Mark isn't a bad man, you'll see. You helped me, maybe you can help him too. You cannot promise that. Father Mark is an apostate and a renegade. I see. The next morning, your brother's shame makes your family to talk of the town. Stefan is livid, but the rest of the family just feels sorry for Nathan. Then, as noon approaches, Inquisitor Ulrich sends for you. He wants to see you right away. You meet at the chapel near the Inquisition ward. You are alone in the house of the twins. Surely you were not expecting to conceal yesterday's incident from me. I have questioned the witnesses. Your brother's actions call for a much severer punishment. You allowed your feelings and family ties to outweigh your duty as a servant of the twins. This is unacceptable. No, it's not. He gave me information about Father Mark. It's a balance. Father Ulrich is right. You are ready to accept any punishment your mentor deems necessary, but first you have urgent news to deliver about Patriarch Cassius and his apostasy. Ulrich's eyes grow wide. You tell your mentor about Father Mark and his connection to the Patriarch. The Inquisitor nods in approval. And Nathan likes us a bit more. Very good. Your punishment can wait for now. Go find this monk and take him to our dungeons. There's not much time left until the next sacred conclave. If Cassius is indeed a heretic, we must expose him before he is elected Patriarch again. You convinced your younger brother to betray Father Mark and his disciples. Yeah, but our family is gone. We're not going to be nobles of the sword now. And our willpower is exhausted. We won't even be able to save our mother if we got the unity we need. Oh, this game weighs heavily on me. Oh, I can't even look at it. The Renegade. It is quite late at night. The cold air of the desert burns your skin. You are accompanied by Jean, Captain Agaronim, and his champions of faith. You are on your way to the El Gautier estate. Father Mark will preach here tonight. Your plan is almost complete. There are only minor details left to discuss. My squad and I will be right nearby. We'll rush to your aid if you need us. Be careful. We don't know what to expect of these renegades. Try to arrest Father Mark, but do not take any unnecessary risks. There's definitely going to be an opportunity I might die here, and not having the willpower makes me even in a worse position. Inquisitor, you're heading into the enemy's lair to act as my weapon. When the time comes, smite the heretics mercilessly with the power of the twins. You promptly don inconspicuous travel attire instead of your usual cassock. There are priests among Father Mark's followers, but it's best not to attract attention. You saddle up and ride toward the estate. The entrance is guarded by armed men. You give them the password and proceed to the courtyard. You see several dozen people in the house. The cavernous main hall is lit by flickering candlelight. You see many commoners and a few noblemen seated around the tables. You spot armed guards by the windows and doors. You take a seat in the corner, far from the large group of groups of people and await the beginning of the sermon. A short, stout man steps up onto a little pedestal. He is wearing the brown cassock of a clergyman, but without any symbols of the twins. The audience greets him with cheers. He responds with a charming smile and raises a hand, calling for silence. Greetings to you all. I see some new faces among us. You came to this house because you can find no refuge elsewhere. You came because you have questions no one is willing to answer. Why are the laws of this world so cruel? Why is your lot, regardless of your estate, full of torment? Why are the ways of this world so unjust? And I answer, ye shall know the tree by the fruits. The twin gods created this world with their will. The twin gods bestowed their law upon us. The twin gods filled the world with their love, but their creation is unendurable. There is no mercy in it, no joy, no kindness. If the world the gods created is so cruel, the only conclusion is that we have very cruel gods. A disturbed murmur buzzes through the audience. What the twins do to us with their will, their law, and even their love is a violation. They take away our lives, subjecting our existence to their will. Our happiness and our joy is of no consequence to them, nor are our desires and hopes. All they require is servitude and unquestioning obedience. After we die, the inevitable awaits us. We will be dissolved in their boundless will, submitted to their absolute law, and drowned in their merciless love. Our will shall be no more. In the hereafter, there is no I, just they. We will cease to exist. I mean, that's not true. We've seen people come back, our ancestors speaking to us, but I guess he's talking something different. So it makes no difference what we face after death, whether the peak of the pillar or the foot. It is all the same, eternity, dissolution, and oblivion. But despair not, brothers and sisters. As long as we have our worldly life, we do exist. As long as we live, we can still discover ourselves and become what we want to be, not what they want us to be. So we must cast aside the twins and live our lives in this world without a second thought, for our cruel gods, and we are all doomed in the hereafter, hence we are free now. I call upon you to rebel. Without a spiritual rebellion, we will all become slaves to their will for the rest of our lives. We will miss our only chance to live beyond the bounds of their pitiless law, and our lives will be no different from the hereafter that awaits us. The listeners meet Mark's words with hushed awe. But be aware that the path of deliverance is hard. Freedom is a burden, and it can break the spirit of even the most stalwart and wise. You think of Nathan lying on the dungeon floor. Patriarch Cassius was our brother and followed our teachings. He protected those in need of salvation and freed those who could no longer bear the will of the gods. But Cassius embarked upon the path of rebellion in an attempt to become like unto a god himself. I taught Cassius to forsake the divine laws, but what he heard was make your own law. I taught him to save those who suffer from the will of the twins, but he heard subject the world to your own will. Patriarch Cassius wants to defy the twins and forcibly liberate people of their oppression. His intention is to spread my teachings, turning them into a new prison for this world. I try to make Cassius see reason, but a man who considers himself equal to the gods is deaf to the words of a mere mortal. I cannot stand against him, and I will not support him. This is the reason I am leaving Anisod and Magla. Tonight we meet for the last time. Oh my god. Yes! Mark steps down. He is instantly surrounded by people. It is time to decide what to do next. So we can return to Jean, which will, we're not going to arrest him. Inquisition power down, tolerance of fates down. We can capture Mark, which gives us a death. Evidence against Cassius, Inquisition power and tolerance and valor. We can lure Mark into a trap, which gives us the evidence we need. Tolerance goes down, Inquisition power goes up, reputation is going to go down. That's because we recruited Nathan. Or we can make a deal with Mark, which gives us the evidence, brings down the Inquisition power again, or tolerance of fates goes up. This won't kill us. And gives the Inquisition 2 power, but takes reputation down again. I'm going to do this. I mean, there's no way we're going to be able to recover reputation anymore, so I'm just getting rid of the Noble by the Sword. We're going to catch him. There's nothing else we can do. I'm really sorry, family, but you're going to fall into a tarnished honor again. Basically where we started, actually. Oh, we're already at 3. Okay, we're going to be down to 2 now. Oh, Jesus Christ. You look for Nathan among the crowd. As promised, he is here, keeping quiet in the shadows and trying to catch the sight of you. Oh, well, it'll put us up to 2 actually, which will put us into indisputable authority. That's good. He is here, keeping quiet in the shadows and trying to catch sight of you. You sit down next to him. He flinches a little and inadvertently touches his neck. The wounds from his punishment have not yet healed. Oh, it's you, Jordan. I'm not used to seeing you dressed like that. Well, how can I help? How can we save all these people who have lost twins in their hearts? The first thing to do is get Mark out of the house. Nathan nods, perplexed. Father Mark likes to smoke his pipe outdoors. I'll try to persuade him to take a walk. I hope you know what you're doing. Meet me at the back door. Nathan leaves the table and goes straight to Mark. You hope he will not let you down. With a glass of wine in your hand, you go outside and pretend to be enjoying your drink and the coolness of the night. The suspense is painful. Each minute lasts forever. Several people pass you by. Eventually you hear some familiar voices. Your neck looks awful, Nathan. I've told you time and time again, drunkenness isn't freedom. It's just another kind of yoke. The gifts of this world must be enjoyed in moderation. You find the silver slabs in your pocket and close your eyes for a moment, praying to the younger for a miracle. The voices are drawing nearer still. You're right, Father Mark. Don't worry, I've learned a lesson I won't soon forget. The sound of the footsteps is very close now. You see Mark appear in the doorframe. You promptly lift your arms, allowing a miracle of the twins to be performed. The burning hot silver disappears. A white flash lights up the night. Jean will surely see the signal. The preacher's body falls to the ground. With a sharp cry, you order your brother to get behind you. You hear running footsteps. The champions of faith rush into the yard. A fight erupts. You hear feet stamping and steel ringing all over the mansion. Jean walks up to you and points to Mark. Is that him? You nod. Excellent. For the first time in a long while, a smile appears on Jean's face. So Father Mark has been imprisoned. The twinless apostate was captured thanks to you. That's okay, I'm happy with that going down. We don't need a religious riot, I don't think. We're one away from indisputable authority, which is good. But our family is just rubbish now. Oh, I don't know what to think about that. We were so close and yet so far. Evidence against Cassius. You now have irrefutable evidence of Cassius's apostasy, the key to bringing the patriarch down. Father Mark is captured. You managed to arrest a blasphemous priest. Yeah, but what did it cost us? Our family is basically in ruins now. The sentence. This is an event and a consequence of your previous actions. We won't get Torch of the New Faith now. Unless we get Tolerant to the Fate up once more. Cassius faces trial. He can be overthrown now, which is good. We're not going to get that anymore, we've ruined that. And we won't be able to save Mother either, I don't think. Anyway. The morning is cold. At the entrance to the Inquisition war, you see a furious crowd. Among them are both commoners and nobles. The townspeople demand the execution of the captured Father Mark, and the numbers are quickly growing. The champions of faith are guarding the doors from the mob. Jean's angry voice is heard from the stairs. Go away! The Inquisition will not allow mob rule. The investigation is still underway, and only the Inquisition will decide when it ends. The mob is outraged. You squeeze through the crowd. Jean gives you a nod. You enter the ward together. You ask, how is Mark's interrogation going? Ulrich still won't let anyone into Mark's cell. It's been 4 days. I don't know what he is doing there. Meanwhile, Cassius gives one sermon after another, accusing the Inquisition of harbouring heretics. Jean suddenly stops. Ulrich goes up from the dungeons. The hemline on his cassock is splattered with blood. The senior Inquisitor greets you with a contented grin. The old man has finally told me everything I need. He turned out to be tougher than I expected, but everyone has a breaking point. So Cassius planned to desecrate the sacred conclave. He was going to address the gods with the words of heresy. Mark gave me the names of the priests who promised to take his side. Brante, you did much more than catching a dangerous heretic. With this evidence, we will bring down Cassius himself. Father Ulrich, have you seen the crowd that's gathered outside our windows? Cassius has been accusing us of inaction for days. People came here to demand the execution of Mark. If we have all the evidence we need, isn't it time to burn the heretic at the stake? Cassius cannot tell me what to do. The heretic will die when I let him die, and that won't happen before we make sure he had told us the truth. We have to find everyone he has named. Let's start right now. I will visit the temples of the Silver District. Sister Jean, you are going to the slums. Brother Jordan, you shall stay to guard Mark. You walk down to the dungeons. A ray of sunshine from a tiny window casts some light over the figure of the prisoner. Mark looks drawn, his body mutilated. There are bloody bandages on his hands. He is restrained so he cannot take his own life. He is but a pale shadow of the once cheerful preacher. Only his eyes remain as alert and perceptive as before. He greets you with a grab-toothed grin and speaks to you in a hoarse voice devoid of any rancor. Good morning, Inquisitor Jordan. You know, I love winters in Magla. The snow-covered sand looks so peculiar. In the morning, the horizon looks like a cake with frosting on it. It is too bad we cannot see it from here. You know, your brother is a good boy, but his spirit is weak. I wanted to ask you, Jordan, how did it happen? Where did I go wrong? Why did he betray us? You answer Mark's question truthfully. You tell him that Nathan suffered a lesser death and was free from the delusion of his false teachings. Mark responds with a sad smile. So that was it. Believe it or not, I have never suffered a lesser death, and it seems I will not have a chance to. Truth be told, I have always feared meeting the twins, and apparently I was right. We have no way to oppose them there. No one is stronger than the gods, so I can only forgive Nathan. I hope he finds enough strength to forgive himself. Tell him that I hold no grudge against him. You hear the distant clamour of many voices through the window of Mark's cell. Hurried footsteps echo on the stairs. Captain Agar Onim enters the hallway. He is deeply distressed. Inquisitor, a huge procession led by Patriarch Cassius is approaching the ward. Apparently they want to pass judgment on Mark the Heretic. I commanded my men to defend the main gate. Of course he wants to get him killed so he can't testify against him. The smile on Mark's face fades away, replaced by sorrow or exasperation. The bruises make it hard to tell. Another disciple who has betrayed me, but Cassius does not deserve my forgiveness. The floor is shaking, resonating with the footsteps of the crowd. You hear the Patriarch's voice faintly through the window. Oh dear, follow me, good people. If the Inquisition cannot rid us of this heretic, we will do it ourselves, for the glory of the twins and their law. The congregation echoes his speech. Not even a squad of champions of faith will be enough to keep the throng at bay. You need to act, and quickly. So we can hand Mark over, which brings our power down and the tolerance of fate down by quite a lot actually, and Mark faces a true death. We can release Mark from captivity, which gives us theology, and Jean goes down. We can send for Ulrich. We can't do that because that would have gave us reputation. We don't have Ulrich as our master, but we can send for Jean and Father Leonard, which will give us order, Inquisition power +2, tolerance of faith +2, reputation +1, and our willpower will go down and we won't be able to act anymore. This seems like the best option. It gives us, that's a lot of Inquisition power and tolerance of faith in those two options. Yeah. Let's send for Jean and Father Leonard. There's nothing else we can do. The people Cassius brought here are demanding that Father Mark be tried. It seems the only holding a tribunal is the only way to prevent the outraged crowd from attacking the Inquisition ward. You command the champions of faith to find Sister Jean and the other Inquisitors while the crowd is still far away. You also order them to bring Father Leonard and his congregation to the Inquisition ward as quickly as possible. These forces should be enough to restrain the Patriarch's troops until the tribunal can begin. I can see what you're planning to do, Inquisitor. I'll send for them. What about Inquisitor Ulrich? You shake your head. Your mentor has postponed this tribunal for far too long. He may forbid it altogether. Agaronim nods in understanding and hurries up the stairs. You follow him. The first to arrive at the Inquisition ward is Father Leonard. Jean follows shortly after. For both of them, this meeting is utterly odd. Brother Jordan, what's going on? What is he doing here? Cool your ardor, sister. I'm here to help. You try to avoid a quarrel. This is a moment when the entire Church of the Twin Gods must unite against a common foe, Father Mark and his heresy. Otherwise, Cassius will stir the wrath of his congregation himself, directing it first against the Inquisition and then against the new believers. Jean and Leonard contemplate each other tentatively for a while. I will help you, Brother Jordan. Jean agrees, albeit gloomily. Fine, what do I need to do? Time is of the essence. You ask Leonard to come to Captain Agar Onim's aid. He will address the congregation and appease their rage while Jean prepares Mark's trial. Leonard leaves the building. A moment later you hear his voice resounding over the grumbling of the crowd. Cassius, my friend, why have you led these people here, and with a call to bloodshed no less? Is this in accordance with the common lot you preach to your flock? I and the people who follow me bring the law of the twin gods. May Mark the Renegade must die. The Inquisition is dragging its feet and will not hold a tribunal, so it is my duty as the head of the church in this land to smite the apostate. The loyal congregation roars in support of Patriarch Cassius. Leonard responds, his soothing tone unaltered. Only the Inquisition has the right to hold a trial and punish priests. The fate of this lost soul is in their hands. A few rocks fly from the crowd in Leonard's direction. Cassius supporters are outraged by the new believer's insolence, but Jean stands by the priest's side. Stop! Trespass not against your lot. Rein in your wrath before it draws your souls to the foot of the pillar. You demand trial and punishment for the renegade. May it be known that he will be tried and punished forthwith. Jean gestures towards the stake that has been prepared for Mark. Inquisitor Jordan captured Mark the heretic. He will try the criminal before your very eyes. You ask everyone to offer prayers to the younger. These prayers are the beginning of each sacred tribunal. New and old believers alike kneel in prayer. Even Cassius is obliged to put his hands together in the appropriate gesture. A harmonic chorus of voices enunciating the holy words resounds over the streets. Glory be to the younger, defender of the world and the shining pillar. Glory be to the law he has bestowed upon us. Glory be to the order he protects. May he bless our deeds. May he preserve us from corruption and lawlessness. May his strength abide with us. The words of the prayer appease and soothe the crowd. The surging sea of people grows calm. You are not even interrupted when the Inquisitors bring Father Mark out of the Inquisition ward. You ask Jean to deliver the speech for the prosecution. Honourable Tribunal of Faith, among the ranks of the Inquisition, diverse ideas about the true design of the twin gods coexist. Some of us follow the teachings bequeathed by Saint Entails, and some have adopted the teachings of Patriarch Photis. Yet we are united by a common understanding. The man who has been brought before the tribunal today is a dangerous heretic and a renegade. Entails teaches us that we must live by our lots by the divine laws bestowed upon us by the twin gods, but Father Mark teaches you to defy the very gods and their laws and their love and their will. But what does a person have left in a world bereft of gods? What can fill the void of his soul? Lust and debauchery, the pleasures of the table and other excesses, carnal delights. Without the twins, our souls can no longer find peace. Photis taught his flock to find their own path to the gods, and even if I do not endorse these teachings, I can still see that they are born of love for the twins and his flock. But of what are Mark's teachings born? What has driven this man to encourage you to denounce the twins and sacrifice your eternal souls? When I ask this myself, I can find no answer other than fear, pride, and cowardice. Father Mark is a renegade. His teachings are among the most heinous and dangerous ever created in the blessed Arcane Empire. Father Mark must be cleansed by fire. His name and his teachings must be buried in oblivion. The Inquisition and the Church of the Twin Gods must set aside their differences and feuds to purge the word of this poison. You ask if anyone wishes to defend Father Mark. All you get in response are shouts demanding a verdict. This apostate's guilt is incontestable. He is sentenced to be burned at the stake. Mark is tied to a stake surrounded by a pile of dry wood. The exhausted preacher remains silent. Only the accusatory glance he casts at Cassius betrays his feelings. You pick up a torch and hold it over the pile. Worldly justice has been done. The judgment of the gods awaits. You unclasp your hand, the flame spreads across the dry wood, crackling, the fire blazes up. Mark perseveres for a while, but when the inferno enshrouds his body, he screams in pain. His last words are carried up into the winter sky. Naught but the prison of their will awaits you. Cherish every day as long as you remain free. So he's died a true death. His cries die out, the crowd cheers. The mantle of snow covering the sand turns black from the ashes falling from the fire. Order has been restored, which is good. We're back up to religious riots, and we have indisputable authority now as the Inquisition. And our family's gone up to modest position, which is nice. So we've actually done quite well. But we cannot act anymore, which is dangerous now going forward. Execution of Father Mark, year 1144. The heretic went to face the twins' judgment. Eternal torment at the foot of the pillar awaits him. Privilege and authority. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. Inquisition power is greater than 8. So I'm going to leave it there. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Lots happened, lots to think about, and I will see you all in the next episode. Take care and have a good day.